Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. Minister responsible for foreign affairs discusses developments of political issues in the region and enhancing cooperation during meetings with a number of officials. Rescue teams continue their efforts in searching for the body of a citizen drowned in one of Salala's beaches. And the Royal Hospital conducts the first cardiac surgery through live broadcast with Toby Conference in the Italian capital. Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. Exchanging points of view on a number of issues and enhancing aspects of cooperation were the centre of discussion at meetings held by His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, on the sideline of meetings of the United Nations General Assembly. His Excellency met with the following: His Excellency Mohammed Jawad Zarif, Foreign Minister of Iran; His Excellency Dr. Augustin Philip Mahiga, Minister of Foreign Affairs and East of Africa Cooperation in Tanzania; His Excellency Ramtan La'amamra, Foreign Minister of Algeria; His Excellency Borg Branda, Foreign Minister of Norway; His Excellency Walid Al-Muallim, Syrian Foreign Minister; His Excellency Lazar Kumanisco, Foreign Minister of Romania; His Excellency Anwar Hogani, Foreign Minister of Kosovo; Ambassador Mushira Khattab, Egyptian candidate for the post of Director General of UNESCO; and His Excellency Ibrahim Al-Jafri, Iraqi Foreign Minister. During these meetings, they discussed ties and cooperation between the Sultanate and these countries and ways to enhance them in all fields. They also dealt with political situations being witnessed by the Middle East region, hoping to reach a peaceful solution that brings security and stability for people and the countries in the region. The Syrian army and allied militia seized ground north of Aleppo today, tightening a siege of the city's rebel-held east as it came under fierce airstrikes in a major Russian-backed offensive that has left Washington's Syria policy in tatters. The capture of the Handarat camp a few kilometers north of Aleppo marks the first major ground advance of the offensive, which the government announced on Thursday. Residents of the rebel-held half of the city say warplanes have unleashed unprecedented firepower. Dozens of people have been reported killed in eastern Aleppo since the army announced the new offensive late on Thursday. Residents say airstrikes on eastern Aleppo have been more intense than ever, using more powerful bombs. Militants killed 12 people in a shooting and a suicide bombing today in the northern city of Tikrit, which was recaptured from the Daesh group last year. Militants shot dead 4 security personnel at a checkpoint on the west side of the city, then continued north and detonated an explosives-rigged vehicle at another checkpoint, killing 8 more people, a police colonel and lieutenant colonel said. The attacks also wounded a total of 23 people, according to the officers. Police searched today for a gunman, authorities said, opened fire in the makeup department of a Macy's store at a mall north of Seattle, killing 4 females and 1 man before fleeing toward an interstate on foot. People fled, customers hid in dressing rooms, and employees locked the doors of nearby stores after gunshots rang out just after 7 p.m. yesterday at the Cascade Mall. A helicopter search teams and K9 units scoured the area for a rifle-carrying man. Authorities say the motive was unknown for the shooting, about 97 kilometers north of Seattle. Still to come in our news bulletin. Thousands of Parisians with a low budget struggle to find a decent living space.
فرص كامنة تختزنها السلطنة. وقبل ذلك إرادة الإنسان الشامخة وتطلعاته لغد أفضل. وفي المقابل تبرز التحديات الماثلة أمامنا. إنها تحديات نعرفها جميعاً، نتشارك الحديث عنها باستمرار. فكيف ننتقل من مجرد النقاش والتوافق إلى التنفيذ؟ وكيف نحول الأفكار المبتكرة إلى مشروعات ذات أثر ملموس؟ البرنامج الوطني لتعزيز التنويع الاقتصادي، تنفيذ.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The efforts exerted by rescue teams of Public Authority for Civil Defence, Coast Guard and Royal Oman Police continue their search for a citizen who had drowned in the Wilaya of Salalah yesterday. The rough sea conditions and strong water currents were a big challenge for the rescue teams. The citizen drowned in Heliton Beach in the Wilaya of Salalah. Before the tragedy took place, he was playing football near the beach and then went for a swim. In translation of development witnessed by cardiological medicine and surgery, surgeons at the Royal Hospital conducted the first cardiac catheterization surgery live from one of the operation theatres at the National Cardiothoracic Centre. The surgery was broadcasted live at Toby Conference at the Italian capital, Rome. The centre has a well-qualified medical cadre which acquired the trust of the conference to be the centre from which the surgery to be broadcasted. This international conference was attended by 1,500 specialists in cardiology.
This is an international conference which is done yearly. It is done in Italy, and there's around 1,500 interventional cardiologists who attend this conference. Okay, and this conference deals with complex cardiac cases in terms of blocked artery, and we were pleased that we were chosen this year. Okay, and the National Heart Center was chosen to be a part of this conference, and there was a live transmission of one of these difficult cases, which went smoothly, alhamdulillah, without any complication, and it was a pleasure for us to be part of this international conference.
The banking credit of commercial banks in the Sultanate during the first half of 2016 stood at 19,348.1 million Omani Rials, compared to 17,823.8 million Rials during the same period in 2015, a growth by 8.6%. The Central Bank of Oman CBO pointed out that the personal loans received 7,680.9 million Rials, or 39.7% of the total banking credit during the first 6 months of 2016, compared to 2,108.9 million Rials for the construction sector, 1,548.5 million for the industry sector, and 1,529.1 million Omani Rials for the services sector. The CBO Quarterly Statistics Bulletin added that the commercial bank's total credit for the other economic activities during the first 6 months of 2016 stood at 530.8 million Rials. The banking credit for non-residents stood at 183.1 million Omani Rials, or 0.9% of the total banking credit. The financial sector index at Muscat Securities Market gained 10 points last week, closing at 7,412 points. The value of trading increased by 6.2% as to reach 11.8 million Omani Rials. Among stiff competition from the participants, Madha Cultural Club in the Governorate of Musandam concluded the activities of Sports Summer and Shababi programs. The two programs were concluded by awarding the winners in the sports, cultural and scientific competitions, such as football, table tennis, quiz program and Holy Quran recitation. The programs were organized by the Ministry of Sports Affairs in order to improve youth skills and strengthen their creativity potentials. They were organized in all governorates of the Sultanate. The programs also included competition among governmental units. A large number of youth took part in the programs. With the aim of uplifting students' innovations and improving their commercial ideas, Salalah College of Applied Sciences established a student company. The company provides a number of products that serve the society's needs. It as well aims to qualifying and preparing Omani cadres able to practice what they studied in reality. The students focused on coconut shell from which they made models and souvenirs. A large number of citizens attended the inauguration of the students' company, which aims to improve the tourism sector in the governorate through acquainting tourists with the touristic places in the governorate through My Guide program. In Paris, where it is difficult to find a flat, many rooms that once served as domestic helpers' sleeping quarters have been turned into apartments for rent. It is illegal to rent out these micro-apartments, typically wedged under a rooftop, as they measure less than 9 square meters and often lack proper ventilation. But many people simply cannot afford any better, and some face other barriers. Here is a report.
It's morning, but Ivan is just getting home from work. A nighttime security guard, he should be settling in for a good day's sleep. But in his stuffy 73-square-foot apartment, there isn't any room to relax.
That's
it. Where I watch TV, where I eat, where I do everything. If a guest comes over, we both sit on the bed or maybe there, but that's it. The bed's the main room.
Ivan has been living in this Paris flat for 10 years. He has no lease since it's illegal to rent out a space measuring fewer than 9 square meters or about 100 square feet. But he still pays €370, over $400, each month in rent. Despite working 2 jobs, he can't find anything better.
I make minimum wage too, so that doesn't help. I don't have anyone to co-sign for me. I have no family in France. So there you have it. It's not really my choice to live here.
Victoire didn't choose her place either. At 67, she has to climb 6 floors up a service stairwell to open her door onto little more than 80 square feet of space.
Here I have a little shower I can use. I make my breakfast here.
Victoire came to France from Madagascar in 2011, and her room was provided by the family that hired her. But 2 years ago, the family moved and tried to force her out. Fearing she wouldn't be able to rent another room, Victoire is clinging to this one, even though she spends most of her time outside.
I don't really live here. I just sleep here.
The only hope for people living in these tiny spaces is that they be declared uninhabitable by the state, a designation that would force the owner or the authorities to relocate tenants to decent quarters. But it doesn't happen often.
The state declares about 50 homes uninhabitable each year. Out of 7,000 rooms, you can imagine knowing that in the 50 declarations, there are also basements, attics, etc. There are quite a few rooms that measure between 65 and 97 square feet that aren't declared uninhabitable.
In 2013, a change to the law added another obstacle. Spaces with an opening to the outside, such as a window or skylight, no longer automatically qualify, meaning an even longer wait before Victoire and Ivan's apartments make the list.
And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Partly cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar, with chances of intermittent drizzle. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies with cloud accumulation and scattered rainfall over the Hajar Mountains. Winds will be easterly to northeasterly light to moderate over the coasts of Sea of Oman, while on the rest of the coast it will be southeasterly to southerly light to moderate. Seas will be moderate along the coasts of the Arabian Sea with a maximum wave height of 2.5 meters and slight along the coast of Sea of Oman with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Minister responsible for foreign affairs discusses developments of political issues in the region and enhancing cooperation during meetings with a number of officials. Rescue teams continue their efforts in searching for the body of a citizen drowned in one of Salala's beaches. And the Royal Hospital conducts the first cardiac surgery through live broadcast with Toby Conference in the Italian capital. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.